Hey, Dr. Deb here. Let's do a Q&A about bioidentical hormones. So I have a whole list of questions that I've been asked recently by people on social media and by my patients, and I thought I would just run down the list. And the first question is, what are bioidentical hormones? Well, bioidentical hormones are the natural form of hormones. So they're the exact match for what your ovaries used to make. At least in theory, your body can't tell the difference between the hormones that came from the pharmacy and the hormones that came from your ovaries. This is in contrast to synthetic hormones. These are man-made chemicals that are never found in a woman's body, and they're made to mimic your hormones. They don't have all the same benefits since they're not exactly the same, and in some cases they can have more risks. So if the natural form of the hormones is readily available, why would you want the synthetic one? You wouldn't want a synthetic tomato. Why would you want a synthetic hormone? The second question is, where can you get bioidentical hormones? Well, certain forms of the hormones are available at the regular pharmacies like Walmart pharmacies, CVS, etc. But only limited options are available. A lot of times we get the hormones from a compounding pharmacy, and this is a special type of pharmacy that personalizes the prescriptions just for you. And we can do many more doses, we can do combination treatments, so we can personalize the treatment and we can really get you something that's right for you in a way that we can't always do if we get the ones from the regular pharmacy. Next question is, are bioidentical hormones covered by my health insurance? Well, sometimes they can be and sometimes they're not. When you get the hormones from the standard pharmacy, those prescriptions are often covered by your health insurance. Sometimes they're a higher tier, so you have a big copay. Sometimes they're pretty inexpensive. Medicare doesn't do the greatest job of covering the hormones. Sometimes they give us a hard time, but generally speaking, the hormones can be covered by your insurance if you get them from a regular pharmacy. When you get the hormones from a compounding pharmacy, it's much less likely that your insurance will cover it. A lot of the compounding pharmacies don't file automatically with insurance. They'll give you a receipt that you can try to submit to see if you can get some reimbursement. But it's actually surprising to know that sometimes paying full price out of pocket for the compounded hormones can actually be cheaper than your copay when you go to the regular pharmacy. So for me, I'm on progesterone capsules, and my doctor accidentally called my prescription into the regular pharmacy instead of to the compounding pharmacy. And when I went to go pick up my prescription from the regular pharmacy, after my insurance already did their part, it was still gonna cost $5, which was a lot more than if I got it from the compounding pharmacy. So even though health insurance may not cover the compounded prescriptions, they are actually cheaper than buying the prescriptions from the regular pharmacy without insurance. The next question is, are bioidentical hormones FDA approved? And this is a really important question that causes a whole bunch of controversy. The prescriptions that you get at the regular pharmacy are FDA approved. The prescriptions that you get at the compounding pharmacy aren't FDA approved because they can't be FDA approved. So let me explain this a little bit more. When something gets FDA approved, every single dose of that prescription has to be FDA approved. So if something's available in a 100 milligram and a 200 milligram, both of those have to go through the trials and get FDA approval. And it costs hundreds of millions of dollars to FDA approve a medication. When you get a personalized prescription, if it's got a pinch of estrogen and a little bit more generous amount of progesterone, etc., all of those prescriptions are different. We can do every color of the rainbow worth of prescription. So every last one of those permutations would have to be FDA approved. It's just not even possible. So it's not that somebody willfully chose not to FDA approve it. It's because they are personalized prescriptions which don't lend themselves to FDA approval. But the hormones in the prescription are the exact same as the hormones in the FDA approved products, because that's the whole point. They are bioidentical. They are an exact match. So for testosterone, there are no FDA approved products at the regular pharmacy for women. We have FDA approved testosterone for men, but not for women. So for women, the only place to get testosterone is either the compounding pharmacy, or we have to use the FDA approved for men prescriptions and try to use just 1/10 of the dose, which is not very accurate. So there's ways around it, but this whole FDA approval thing is a little bit controversial. So what I would say is if this is something that you're worried about, just talk to your provider about it. There's options. And if you really only want to have something that's FDA approved, there's a lot of things that we can do that are, and then you would just sacrifice the ones that aren't. There's lots more things to talk about with bioidentical hormones. So if you've got questions, let me know and I'll tackle them next time.